to Twisted Tales.
Twisted Tales, Twisted Tales, hell, blood and bones and unknown trails. Twisted Tales, hell, true got teeth and drags their nails. Urban riding, back road sins, dead men talking through the wind. Cursed objects, killer law. Once you hear it, you want more. No fairy dust, no happy end, just how the nightmare really went. Turn it up, don't ask why. This ain't stories, this is true to life.
Good evening, everybody. This is Jeremy. It's another wonderful episode of Twisted Tales brought to you by the All Access Network as part of Wicked Wednesdays. Tonight, I have a gentleman who has done it pretty much all. He is a paranormal investigator. He is a renowned psychic medium, book author, and heavy metal musician. I bring to you Mr. Christopher Brown.
What's going on?
Hey, Chris. Man? Hey, thank you very much for coming on the show tonight. I know it's been a crazy spring so far. I don't even know if I can call it much of a spring here in Massachusetts. I've had like 2 whole days, maybe.
I know, right? Yeah, right. Well, it's an honor to be here, man. Truly, thank you for having me.
You know, I remember a while ago we had talked about it. I really wanted to get you on because, man, you pretty much have done a lot of stuff, and you just keep on doing more. You know, and so started off. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got involved in the paranormal in the first place? Like, when were your earliest memories of the paranormal?
You know, it's funny because I've been asked that before, and I always try to like really dig deep on this stuff, you know. But if you had asked me 10 years ago, like, you know, do you have any gifts or abilities, I would have probably laughed at you and said no. You know what I mean? Like, because I didn't really believe in much of it at all. I could feel energy, I guess. You know, like I would say that you know, I could feel when a ghost was around. I tell my buddies, "Oh man, I feel like there's a ghost here," you know, or I go into some weird creepy building and I feel like energy, right?
Yeah.
But like, so years ago, I didn't really have any word for it, but a buddy of mine, Adam Began, him and I went to this place called the Parsonsfield Seminary. It's right in Maine. And we were just kind of cruising around, and it was off season. The caretakers were unloading their Christmas tree and just putting it in like a burn pile or something out back. And they were like, "Oh, hey guys, you know, what's going on?" And we're like, "Oh, you know, we're paranormal investigators." And cause Adam was doing it first, and we met through the music scene because we were both in bands at the time, you know, and, so I expressed that I had grown up in a haunted house, and that's kind of what sparked it too. Like growing up in a haunted house, like, and it was like real haunted, like cliche haunted, dude, like crazy, weird shit would happen. Like even friends would come over who didn't believe in any of it, and they'd be like, "I'm never coming back here again. Your house is fucked up," you know. So that kind of triggered things too, like just unexplainable things happening. And then so we're in Parsonsfield. And I'm starting to get impressions of stuff. You know, I felt like a younger male spirit was playing hide and seek with me. And of course, you know, I brushed it off because I'm like, this can't be real. You know, like it's just my imagination is what I'm thinking. And I went home and I YouTube Parsonsfield Seminary, and there was a medium that went to she stood in the same spot that I did. And she goes, "There's a young male spirit here and he's playing games with me." And I was like, no fucking way. Like my jaw, is it okay if I swear, by the way?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely.
cool. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no way, like this can't be real. Hey.
Yeah.
And so I started digging into it, you know, and I was like, what does this mean to be a medium? And to be honest with you too, at the time I was kind of hitting rock bottom. You know, I was going through a lot of stuff, a lot of heavy emotional and just spiritual, physical stuff. And I was kind of just like, universe, do whatever you want with me. Like, I don't care. You know, I'm putty in your hands. And it led me down a healing path, dude. So like I started finding guys like John Holland and, you know, like, you know, some of the, you know, I'd say TV mediums, but they're also not like, you know, they're not like, you know, Matt Frazier or, you know, or Teresa Caputo or anything, but
Gotcha.
They're doing gallery readings. They were healing people. They were bringing through messages from loved ones. And I was like, you know, I really want to do that. You know, I really want to be able to heal people and through that healing, heal myself. And so that's kind of how I got into it in a nutshell. You know, I just, and I've been doing it ever since. I found a real passion for it. And I've loved it ever since. I still learn, I still grow, I still take classes, I still in development always. And I love it. It's a subject that I will never get tired of. and it's just a fascination that cannot be satiated. You know what I mean?
I do agree. It really does work, and the universe does definitely listen.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't want them to hear half the things you have to say, and that's the truth. And
Uh-huh.
yes, by the way, we have carte blanche to say whatever, use whatever colorful language we want to. This is Twisted Tales, and it goes in whatever direction we're going to take it in.
Perfect.
Don't be afraid of that. Usually, I put up a disclaimer, but we didn't do that tonight because
Oops.
our good friend Gwen Johns, our producer, is healing from her stuff that she had done today, and God bless you. Hopefully, we'll be seeing her back again soon.
Yep, sending healing her way for sure.
So on the paranormal side first, and then we'll dive into the readings and the medium side. When did you do your very first paranormal investigation? Like where was your very first paranormal investigation?
First investigation?
Yeah, like when you first got involved in the paranormal part of it.
Yeah, so the seminary wasn't necessarily an investigation. We just got a tour of the place and we were able to walk around. Yeah. My first investigation, I honestly, I want to say, and now you got me thinking because I'm like, where was it? But I really want to say it was the Vassalboro Mill. There was a in Vassalboro, Maine. There's this old textiles mill, right? Real haunted.
Yeah.
And there was a Paracon that used to happen there every year. It was called Parafest.
Okay.
Put together by Toby Hartford and Travis Hartford. Very good friends of mine. Shout out to those guys if you're watching or hear this. Actually Jeff Witham, Jeff.
Yep. Oh yeah.
So he was on, him and I were on a team. He got me involved in a team and things like this. Actually, geez, now that I'm thinking about, oh my God, I'm getting my stories all mixed up. It was, I'm sorry. It was at a place called the Irish Heritage Center. That was my first investigation. So that's okay. Now I'm with it. Irish Heritage Center in Portland, Maine. It was an old church. Jeff and Adam got me onto the team. Yep. And then we did a first investigation there. It's like I said, this old haunted church in Portland, Maine, in town Portland. The place is wild. It's an awesome location. I remember we were getting up into like the way attic, like high up where nobody should go. So it was cool. So that was my first paranormal investigation. And then Parafest came after that, and it kind of snowballed from there. Sorry, I got a little. Cool. I had to think about it there for a second.
Don't worry. I'm sure some of the questions I'll end up asking you will make you have to think a little bit too.
Down, I'm trying, Christy. I'm trying to calm down. Don't worry.
It's all good. It's all good. So you've been investigating now for a good amount of time.
Yeah.
Where have been some of your favorite locations that you've actually gone and done?
Oh man, I mean, I gotta say, Pennhurst Asylum was definitely a favorite.
Cool.
Pennhurst was really fun. Getting out to Arizona, being in Tombstone, Arizona, the Birdcage Theater was really cool.
Oh wow.
Locally in my area, Fort Knox, Maine, where 207 Paranormal, we do a lot of stuff there. What's up, guys? That's always a great spot. I mean, I gotta say too, even though the Conjuring House is, it's got what it's got going on, I really had a good time there. I've been there a few times. That place has definitely got energy. But truthfully, some of the wildest moments I've had were residentials. You know what I mean? Places that, you can't rent out. You can't, people just, they're having some struggles and they call you up and you investigate. And like, I've had some wild experiences at residentials. So
amazing. So with the residential, is it more you're helping the families connect with the energies that are in the home because of your mediumship abilities? Is because I know that you said in when I was reading up about some stuff is that you connect the investigations with your mediumship to help out. So it's like you have that as an additional tool that a lot of people don't actually have.
Well, yeah, I think we all do. I think everybody's a psychic. Everyone's a medium. I don't think it's. I just think it's how far do you want to take it? You know what I mean? Like, some people might really like to watch Grey's Anatomy, but they're never going to be a doctor. You know what I mean?
No, that's fair.
But some people might watch Grey's Anatomy and be like, I'm going to college and I'm going to be a surgeon. So it depends on how far you want to take it. But I do that with paranormal teams for sure. And in some of the residential places, it was like, like what do you feel? What can you validate for us that maybe the people that are living there are experiencing that they haven't told anybody? So it eliminates some of like the debunked stuff, and it kind of hones down into the spiritual stuff as well. Oh, thanks, Raymond.
Gotta love the beat.
I just got this. I love this thing.
That's cool. Oh, it's really hard to be a Boston fan right now with the Celtics tanking it and the Bruins tanking it. And, well,
somebody told me once, I walked into somewhere, they were like, you got a lot of nerve wearing that hat. And I was like, look, I've been watching them lose my entire life. It's all good.
Oh, God, yes. I hate to say it, I don't usually bring sports into it, but I mean, I've been a Patriots fan since the 80s when they tanked it out. And, years of watching the Celtics just on the cusp of not doing anything. And I'm not huge into hockey, so I really can't get that far. Right, hey, Chris. Hey. So, oh my God, when did you actually start developing? I know you said you picked up on your mediumship skills. When did you actually start developing them as far as starting to help people individually, like working with people? When did you decide to go down that path?
Well, so in the time that I'd gone to the seminary and I looked up, the YouTube thing and kind of was like, oh, and kind of was validated through what I was feeling.
Right. I
was like, it sounds kind of weird, but I would look up YouTube videos. What does it mean to be a medium? What does it mean when you pick up on spirits? And there'd be these videos were top 10 things. If you check off these boxes, then you may be a medium, things like that. And I would watch those videos and I'd check off all the boxes and I'm like, well, what is all this about?
Right.
So, like I said, once I found out that it was for healing, the people that you're reading for, as well as those in spirit, it really piqued my interest. So what I started to do is I was on Facebook groups for spiritual groups, and people would post a picture of a loved one and say, can anybody pick up on anything from this individual? And I would read the pictures and then I would have to put unapproved reader on the post. And, and then eventually I got a little bit more into it. And so I had to read for admins in order to be approved,
Right.
And then after 2 years of doing that, I got approved and I was like, well, shit, now I felt like I could start doing this as a thing. And then it just kind of went from there. Looking at pictures on Facebook turned into a friend of mine who was also on the paranormal team. His girlfriend wanted an in-person reading. Okay. And to be truthful with you, he said that he's like, oh, she wants to meet up with you. And I was shitting my pants because I'm nervous. I've never done a face-to-face type of thing. And when I did it, it went really well. And it snowballed, and I was like, wow, I can do this face-to-face with people. It's not as intimidating. So I started slowly doing it over time. And it just is bumped up in what I've been doing. Now I'm doing it full time. I do the gallery readings. I do private readings, and it's really been a wild ride,
Yeah. So one thing you just touched on, I actually wanted to bring up what you've done virtual readings as well as you've done in person. Yep. Can you explain to people the difference in the energy when you're in person with somebody versus over the via Skype or via and any kind of Facebook live or whatnot? Could you explain the difference in the energy between the two, so just in case anybody had a question about that?
For sure, yeah. I just honestly, I think it's personal preference. I think that the energy is still the same. I think the healing and the powerful messages can still be the same. Any information that I get face to face with somebody, I mean, it's all in the global consciousness, right? Consciousness is everywhere. So when we tap into it, we don't have to be in that close proximity in order to connect with their loved ones. We just have to put that vibration and that intention out there. Right. So I think as far as the difference goes, it's just personal preference. If you would rather do a phone thing and you're comfortable with that, some people want to eliminate the idea that you're looking at your facial structure, some people think that when you're doing readings, you're reading their face and their reactions to what you're saying, as opposed to actually picking up on stuff. Some people think, the cold reading techniques or whatever horseshit they say.
Right.
So, when you're doing a phone reading and you're coming up with some crazy validation, there's no way I'm looking at someone's face and being like, oh, well, that made sense, or any of that. So it eliminates that as well. Do you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
No, I'm definitely following that. Yeah.
But as far as the energy goes, it's pretty on par. I think the only thing that makes it different, at least for me personally, is when I first started doing it, I was a lot less nervous through a screen than I was in person, just because it's very, I don't know. I mean, you're literally standing in front of these people, feeling like you're naked and no one's throwing you a towel. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Or hoping that someone throws you a towel, at least anyway, right? So nerves get to you sometimes, especially in the beginning.
I definitely see that in like being clairvoyant. I can definitely, because I can communicate with spirits, not maybe quite as at the level that you do with the psychic, with the mediumship and galleries and whatnot. But I have helped some people on the minor side, just connect with family members at like investigations or identifying spirits directly. But I feel like the energy is definitely infinite. I agree with Bill on that one.
Yeah, I agree as well.
Like being in person with somebody and actually like feeling their energy like in the moment, to me feels like you're connecting with that person more so than like over the like virtual or something like that over the telephone. I mean, if they were worried about you reading facial features, you could go back to back with them, singing chairs of back to back and just having them talk to you, and you could pick up on things that way. I mean, to me, it's like I get more on the person to person live face, like right there versus I've never done any readings over the phone or anything like that, because I just don't know what to think about any of those things. But it's amazing what you can do, man. I've heard first hand about just recently you were in Augusta and you did a gallery at the Augusta Civic Center, right?
That's right. Yeah, me and Scott Allen were up there, and we 330 people. Yeah.
So that's another thing I wanted to branch on to. Could you explain to me like what it feels like to actually do a gallery and with a crowd of that many people and trying to pick up on that many energies and trying to pick out ones that like what does it look like to you? Like what do the spirits look like to you in an arena of that magnitude?
It's so funny because it has presented itself in different ways over the years. At that particular one, it was wild because on my way to the Civic Center, I was just driving there, and a woman's husband came to me. And, sometimes people will come to me. I mean, a lot of the times people will come to me before gallery readings, and they'll give me some information. And they'll just say, hey, give this out into the crowd, and it's for so-and-so, and this is my message. In this particular occasion, he came to me. He said, you have to buy my wife a box of chocolates because I proposed to her with a ring inside a box of chocolates. And he's like, and that's my sign for her. And I'm like, I was like, at first I wasn't sure. But I was like, I'm going to listen to my gut. I'm going to go do it. And there's a local shop in Augusta called Macaba's Soul. And they sell chocolates there, and they're a metaphysical shop. I do a lot of work out of there. So shout out to Macaba's Soul. And so I got the box of chocolates, you know what I mean? And I brought it to the gallery, and sure enough, I start reading. I start bringing this gentleman through, and I said, oh yeah, by the way, ma'am, I set the box on the side of the stage. I said, by the way, he told me that he, proposed to you with a ring and a box of chocolates, and he wanted me to give you a box. And she's like, and I think all the air was sucked right out of the room, and so I grabbed the box and I handed it to her, and I was like, this is from him. And she, everybody, I mean, myself, everybody in the room was like, oh my fucking God, like talk about validation. Right. But, so things like that will happen where spirits will come to me prior. There was one time I was on Richmond, Maine. We were on this place called Swan Island. I think it was like 70 people I was doing a reading for, or a gallery for. Okay. And I saw a group of people like coming in a line almost. They were like, not like single file, but it was like just a crowd of people walking towards the crowd of living people that were in the gallery. And I watched that, and I was like, okay, this is going to be all right. They're here. They're ready to pass on the message. And it was a beautiful night, so it happens in different ways. There's also times when I'll be in a gallery and, it'll be like, I usually have everybody take a nice deep breath with me before we start. Sometimes, like I said, people come to me prior. Sometimes nobody. It's crickets. And I take a deep breath, and then poof, somebody comes in. So it's really, it's so variable, and it's so different every time.
Oh, wow. I was gonna follow up with if you did like some sort of a opening where you had them ground themselves or open up to communication. Like I know sometimes with groups of people, if you're like when you go on an investigation, if you want to communicate with spirits, you usually get everybody around and you do like a grounding ceremony, so to speak, where you put the roots into the ground and then like you open up your crown for communication, and sometimes it works very, very well. Mm-hmm. I didn't know if you do something like that similar to when you do a gallery.
So when I first start talking to everybody, I will, as I'm talking and doing my intro, I'm slowly getting into that mindset of like, okay, it's time to read. It's time to get into that spiritual mode, and right before everything, no matter what I say, sometimes like I'll build the energy in the room. And lately it's been something I've been doing and I really like it. And partially it's selfish because I think it's funny but also it builds the energy in the room. But you're a wrestler, so you remember Ric Flair?
Yep.
So you go, woo, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I literally had 330 people go, woo. And it was great. And I loved it. I was laughing so hard, but like people were laughing. People were like, the energy got brought up, and it was, in that, after that, I was like, all right, now everybody just take a nice deep breath with me, and we'll get started, and I preface it by saying, like, this is for healing, not just for you guys, but for those in spirit as well. Like, this is a high vibrational thing. This is nothing negative is going to come through. Nothing bad's going to happen. There might be heavy subject matter for sure,
right?
But nothing, there's, no low vibrational energies are going to sneak in and be like, oh, I'm Uncle so-and-so. It doesn't work like that.
Okay.
So in that, for that reason, that's kind of, I don't focus a lot on the visualized grounding methods, but I do make it a point to just say, hey, this is for healing. This is for love. This is for validation. And
right.
Those things kind of set the tone for the evening usually.
Oh, that definitely makes sense. So it's going to sound really weird because I'm trying to visualize everything. So I just figured out when you're in that arena and you have 330, 400 people, how many, it could be 30 people.
Yeah.
And all of the energies, all the spirits, all the loved ones, or past relatives, or just some random jamokes that could be in the building that are just hanging around.
Right.
Like, do they like stand in line to talk to you? Do they try to bum rush you all at one time? You're like, okay, guys, one at a time. How does it appear to you? Like when you're when you're doing a gallery, do they try to bum rush the stage, so to speak, like in a concert, or do they like understand?
Everybody rush the stage, right?
Well, come on. I mean, we're gonna get into that chapter of what you got going on too, but
right.
Bum rushing the stage is definitely something.
Right. With that, it's very different as well. There are times when it's one person at a time. I'll pick up on a grandmother or a son or a father or a friend, and they'll come through very politely one at a time. Sometimes if there are two people that need to get, they like similar situations, let's say both, well, for example's sake, we'll say two gentlemen died of suicide. They want to get a message to their mom. There's two moms who lost sons from suicide. They might come through at the same time, and they'll, hey, my name's David. My name's Nick. And it gets a little hazy because it's like I try to hone it down to one person, but two people are presenting themselves at the same time.
Right. So,
and then you have to do some navigation work to, okay, who am I with and who makes sense of what? But for the most part, people are generally one at a time. They understand that if I have 5 people talking to me all at once, I'm not going to be able to give you the best reading or the most validating reading. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
So, and I think that spirit respects that in a way.
That's true, but I mean, you understand as well as I do that I've had this conversation with several people before, and I wanted to get your take on this. Where when you cross, you tend to have the same mannerisms that you had on this side of the plane that you do when you leave your physical being and you move on that side. So if you're a good person, you're gonna be good. If you're kind of a jerk, you're not gonna all of a sudden have this epiphany and become the nicest person in the world. Right. You're gonna maintain. So when you do a gallery and you have multiple people of multiple personalities coming through at you, I'm sure some of them are a lot louder than others and maybe a little bit more pushy, trying to get to the front of the line, so to speak.
That is definitely the case. And there are times when too, like, I remember very clearly I was in Massachusetts. I think it was Shirley, Mass. And there was a gentleman who his dad came through, and I started describing him, and the guy's that's for me. And the piggybackers. Oh, let's see. Can confuse things a bit. It would be much easier if they would just make them. Yeah, I agree, Morgan. Take a ticket.
That's a great quote. I like that.
It's a great quote. So Shirley, Mass, and there was a guy's dad who comes through. I start describing him. The guy raises his hand, and he just, I got this weird vibe that the dad was kind of a not great person. You know what I mean? Right. He just presented his energy as like, I wasn't the best father, and I said, sir, are you open to hearing from him? And he was like, go for it, man. He's like, let's hear what he has to say. Right. So I told him the hard things. I was like, he's telling me that he was a real piece of crap and that he treated you like garbage and he was never proud of you. And like, those are awful things to hear, but it like if I said to the same guy, your dad's coming through and he says, he's so proud. He loves you so much. He was there for you always. He's going to say, that's not my dad. You're wrong. That's not it.
Yeah. They'd be calling you out on that. Yeah.
Right. And it's like I said, it's a hard message to give, but it's validating. Right. And then after that validation came through, his dad said, I want you to know, I see my grandson And I want you to know that you are a better father than I could ever imagine to be. And I am proud of you for that. And it changed his whole demeanor. You know what I mean? Like I said, it healed his dad on the other side because he was able to pass on that message of like, hey, I know I fucked up in life, but I'm trying to make sense of this in the afterlife.
Right.
And it also helped his son because it's like, you know, I didn't follow in my dad's footsteps and I'm treating my son better than my dad treated me.
Wow, that's really amazing. You know,
It's hard, you know, but
no, it is. And seeing that you're there and you're trying to connect with all of these spirits, and all of these spirits are intelligent spirits versus some of the residual ones that we deal with when we go to like haunted locations and things of that nature. And you know, to be able to talk to that many intelligent spirits, that's definitely has. Do you have like your own way of like decompressing after all of these galleries? Because I'm sure that when you walk out of a gallery, your energy has got to be like on an all-time like pinging off the Richter scale, or you just feel like you're just drained and you're just ready to crawl into a corner and take a nap.
Right. Yeah, it's usually one or the other. I'm either like vibrating across the floor, or I'm just like, you know, just passed right out. You know, but I usually go through my decompression. You know, and what I try to do is, so I'm not switched on all the time. You know, I can't be. You know, it would drain me too much. For me personally, when I started learning this stuff, I set boundaries with spirit, and I was like, look, I can't be on all the time because I don't have it in me. And so when I'm done with a personal reading or a gallery reading, I shut it down, you know, and I'm just me. There's no psychic medium Christopher anymore. It's just, I'm Chris. Maybe I'll listen to some death metal, or I'll listen to some, you know, old school 60s music to just kind of chill me out, or I'll play video games or my guitar. You know, I'll do the things that are grounded in a physical world and not in the spiritual. I will just completely ignore the spiritual side of myself. And, you know, and then that's how I kind of ground out, you know. Yeah, I talk with my hands, Christy. Sorry.
It's all good. Trust me. I think we all do it. We all get a little bit of that Italian in us, no matter how you look at it. You know?
Boppity boopity, hey, what do you got?
You know, forget about it. No,
forget about it. Yeah. What you talking, Christy? Come on. Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things I have. The biggest hardest thing is I'm never shut off. My damn energy is, I'm always switched on. For some reason, I can't shut the stupid thing off no matter how hard I try. You know. It's totally the way to go, depending on the band. I agree. And you know what? What a great way to segue into the next section of this particular thing, you know.
There we go.
So would you like to tell the audience the name of your actual band that you're in?
I would love to. Yeah, sure. So we are called Stillborn Condition, and I know the name strikes people wrong sometimes. There is a story to it. When I was born, I was a triplet. Okay. Unfortunately, my two twins passed in utero. Their umbilical cords wrapped around my stomach, which caused them to pass, unfortunately. But it also caused two very big scars that wrap around my stomach. It basically goes from my back to my belly button, right? And so, one, as a way to pay tribute and honor to them, you know, we named the band Stillborn Condition because that's my condition. That's my stillborn condition from them, is those scars, right? And two, it's a metal as fuck name. You know, like, so it works in two different tandems, you know what I'm saying? So, but that's how we got the name. It's not just because we're a bunch of sick weirdos. There is a meaning, and it is a to pay tribute to that part of my life, you know.
That's awesome. So when did Stillborn Condition actually, like, when did it start? When did you actually get the band going?
Yeah. So our first live show, I think, our first live show was December 18th of 2015. That's when we first started. We were jamming as a 3-piece before that with no gigging or anything like that for maybe like a year and a half or two. So I'd say roughly 2013 is when we actually formed the band. We played our first show in 2015 in December, and then we've been cranking away ever since. You know, COVID kind of put a wrench in the spokes, but you know, we got through it.
That's amazing.
We just released an EP not too long ago.
That's pretty cool. Have you been playing your whole life, or did you just pick it up around 2015, or?
No. So funny enough, my first instrument was the tenor saxophone when I was like, I want to say like 8 years old. From like 8 to 12 years old, I played the tenor saxophone, and I lived in Connecticut for a little while, and I had an amazing music teacher. Just made me love the whole thing. Right. And then I moved back to Maine, and unfortunately my Maine music teacher, who was teaching saxophone, was a real dick, and it just turned me off from the whole thing. And then my brother, we were all into like, you know, early 90s rap and hip hop and stuff. He came across the album Dirt by Alice in Chains. And he he didn't like it because he was into rap and stuff, So he gives me the CD. He's like, "Hey, here, yeah, I don't like it. You listen to it." First second I heard that, I'm like, "Oh man, this is what I like." Like this is the road I want to go down. So I was like, I want to emulate that. And so I picked up a guitar. My cousin at the time, he played in a local band. He taught me a couple chords, and I just ran with it ever since. More or less self-taught from there, but I've been playing since I was 13 years old. Guitar.
Dude, that is awesome. And AIC is a great band. I mean, they were a great band. I ever since Lane left, I can't listen to him anymore without Lane. His vocals is what actually carried the band over the top.
Oh my god, yeah, 100%.
Like the very first album, Facelift, is probably my favorite album. Well, I mean, Dirt's great too because it has some really cool songs like The Rooster and whatnot and so forth. Yeah. But yeah, nothing. When I first heard the opening riff of Man in the Box, I automatically got hooked by them. I saw them open up for Megadeth, Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, and Anthrax.
Oh fuck yeah, dude!
It was 1992.
You got it in
at the old Great Woods.
Oh man, that's the Xfinity Center now, right?
Yeah, it was called Clash of the Titans. Clash of the Titans, 1992. Alice in Chains had just come out, and that was the year the Slayer had Seasons in the Abyss.
Oh fuck yeah!
Megadeth had Rust in Peace, and Alice in Chains had just done Persistence of Time. So it was like all those amazing albums, all in one shot.
I'm not jealous at all.
Yeah, I mean, amazingly, Anthrax was the headliner of all.
Oh wow!
Believe it or not, with Persistence of Time was like one of the hottest.
Yeah.
Metal albums at that time.
It's funny. Anthrax was the last one of the big four thrash bands that I had to see to make the big four. I've seen Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, and Anthrax now. I haven't seen Testament, though. I want to see them.
I saw them a long time ago. I mean, a long time. We're talking probably like 88, 89, right around that time frame. Going way back.
Way back, yeah.
I've been a metal fan since, I'm going to say like 86.
Oh, fuck yeah.
The very first time I ever saw a metal band, I saw Metallica open up for Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh, man.
They were playing stuff off of Master of Puppets, and Ozzy was doing the Ultimate Sin album around that time frame. So
that's killer.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. Anthrax, the original. Yep.
That's funny. I saw Metallica in '98 at Gillette Stadium. It was their summer sanitarium tour. That was the first time I saw them. It was like Korn, Kid Rock, Power Man 5000, and System of a Down.
Wow, Power Man 5000, Rob Zombie.
I know, right?
Holy crap!
That's the name. It's bringing it back, right?
Oh yeah, it is. So, aside from Alice in Chains, which obviously like spawned your interest in going in that direction, what are some of the other influential bands that influenced the style of music you actually moved into with your band and stuff like that?
So up until a certain point, I was listening to more grunge, more not like death metal necessarily, but the first couple of death metal records that really changed my mind was you ever heard of the band Whitechapel?
Mm-hmm.
So Whitechapel's first album, The Somatic Defilement, I heard that in like 2007, and I was like, there was another band called Job for a Cowboy. They have an album called Doom. All Shall Perish, their album Eradication. And I think there was one more, and Bloodbath, actually. Bloodbath. Their album Nightmares Made Flesh, like, turned me right around. And I was like, I need to make more heavily aggressive shit. And obviously Cannibal Corpse, Slayer, the OGs. I love those guys too. But like those four albums like really switched my interest in playing more progressively heavier music. I was in a metalcore band for a while. It was like 3 years, I think. We were called View from the Noose.
Oh, cool.
We were around from like 06 to 09. And unfortunately, our lead singer got shot in the Old Port in Portland. He's okay. He didn't pass away, but he was paralyzed from the waist down, unfortunately. And it ended our band pretty quick. But crazy enough with the whole thing with View from the News, 9 months after he got shot, we were on stage and we played a show with him.
That's amazing.
So the picture you used in the intro where it's like me with a black guitar.
Yeah.
That was that show.
Really?
Yeah. Man. Which is kind of crazy that you chose that picture, but I was like, oh shit, bringing it back,
It's cool, and like I love all the heavy metal stuff, like DSI, Dark Angel, freaking God, they say Cannibal Corpse stuff.
Oh yeah, Cannibal Corpse.
King Diamond was really good.
Yep.
Even some of the newer stuff like Cradle of Filth has had
I
a couple.
I got into them a little bit.
Are you familiar with Cradle Filth's cover of Mr. Crowley from Oz?
No, I got to check that out though.
You might want to check. You might want to check that one out. That one's pretty badass too.
All right.
Yeah,
I will say I was in a new metal phase for a while. I loved Mudvayne, Slipknot.
I liked Mudvayne a little bit. Slipknot, yes. The first few albums, Slipknot,
first two for me. Iowa and their self-titled, hands down, amazing. And Mudvayne's first two as well. But after that, I'm like, they got a little soft.
Well, you know what? You were bound to. I mean, if like you said, you were a fan of vintage Slipknot, they went hard in the paint, really hard for their first couple albums. I mean, I've seen them live with their first album.
Oh shit!
Like 5 or 6 times I saw them when they first came out, and we got Clown and all the other guys. It was like crazy. Morbid Angel, Devil Driver. Devil Driver. Wow,
Devil Driver's great. That's the guy from Cold Chamber's newer band. After Cold Chamber, he went to Devil Driver. I saw Devil Driver with, I want to say, Static X when Wayne Static was still alive. Them and Black Label Society. That was a cool show.
Static X was a great. Like their first 2 CDs were amazing. I remember the first time I heard "Push It." I almost you almost lose your mind when you heard heard "Push It" for the first time.
Yep, agreed.
"Blood for Days" and all the other crazy.
So many good songs. Yeah,
and even like seeing those bands live and the energy that comes off of it. How could you not get wrapped up in heavy metal music? For those who don't enjoy the genre, it is nothing but pure energy from the minute you guys hit the stage.
I'm just reading Nathaniel Scott. No, Iowa was not the worst. Sorry, I disagree. Check yourself, buddy.
Versus 3. Try versus 3.
Subliminal verses.
Whew. There's like one or two decent songs.
I mean, Iowa was not their first album, but it was a great album.
Christy, I can
disagree. It's okay. Oh yeah, Land of God. I've seen them a bunch too. Yeah, Monomarth. Fuck yeah.
I've actually seen a Monomarth. They're the ones with the Viking ship and all that kind of shit, right?
So funny enough, I saw a Monomarth it was Cannibal Corpse, a Monomarth, Lamb of God, and Slayer at the Xfinity Center, and that was a sick show.
That had to be pretty sick.
That was cool. Marilyn Manson, old school Manson. I love him. I got up to a point where I think Holywood was the last album from Manson that I really liked.
I gotta say, when you bring up Marilyn Manson, when I first heard "Beautiful People," that hooked me. Yeah. And then I saw him live at the whatever Great Woods, whatever it became, and his stage show was freaking insane.
Right.
No matter how controversial you think the guy is, it's like, oh my god, boom.
It's so funny because later, in the last 5-10 years, people are like, new information's coming about Marilyn Manson. He's so controversial. I was like, he's never not been controversial. He's never been shy about that either. He knows what he is.
I respect that, Nate. Iowa Iowa wasn't a great album.
That's fair, man. It's all good, but like I said, respectfully disagree, but it's all good.
I hate to say it. I've tried to listen to the last couple of Slipknot albums, and they make versus 3 sound like perfection.
Yeah.
It was just like Korn. I was a huge Korn fan.
Korn fan.
Back in the old days. I saw them when they put out their very first album. Yeah. They were the headline. It was them and White Zombie. They were at the Worcester Centrum back in the day before it became the DCU. My God, the energy that comes off of that place. Man.
So Korn is the reason why I play a 7-string guitar.
Really?
Yeah, I play a 7-string guitar now in the band that I'm in. I'm looking at it over here, but we tune down a little bit farther than they do. But they were the reason why I wanted to get a 7-string because, nobody else was tuning that low at the time. And if you wanted to, you had to get that 7-string guitar, So I was like, oh man, I got to get it.
That was a graceful tap out. Nicely done, Nate. No,
yeah. You guys in the comments are awesome. I love it. Thanks, you guys.
When I saw Korn, we'll move on from that point, but they made the whole place erupt when they started playing Blind. And they just the whole place exploded. You could feel the energy bouncing off the walls. It's like they could have caved in the whole place. It was ridiculous.
Korn
yes, I agree. Nowadays they're not very good, but back in the day, I really enjoyed them. I'm a huge Disturbed fan. I loved a lot of Disturbed's earlier categories, the first 3 or 4 albums. It's just when The Sound of Silence came out, I was a huge fan of that song because it dropped right around when I was losing my mom to cancer, and my dad wasn't doing well through all of his things, and
So yeah,
like when that song dropped, my sister-in-law and I were getting ready to go do the American Cancer Society walk, the Boston Marathon, the 26.2 mile. Yep. I think I must have listened to that song and repeat over and over again. You know, whether or not you like Dave Raymond's fucking vocals or whether or not you like the song or whatever, that's cool. It was like a meaningful song. You know?
Well, that's the thing. If a song hits you in the heart and it really gives you the feels, like who cares? You know, listen to it, enjoy it, feel the emotion, feel the energy of it. It doesn't matter, you know.
No, everybody loves everything, you know.
Yeah.
Hotel California is a dark song played backwards. I love it. That's what I hate to say. That's about the only way I can listen to that song nowadays.
Oh, Type O Negative.
Rest in peace, Peter Steele. Oh my God, talk about a guy whose voice was.
Oh man, yeah, and really, you know, solidified a genre. I mean, he pioneered a lot of shit, and a lot of bands after that. You know,
if you ever saw him in person, his voice actually matched his physical presence.
I believe it. Yeah,
he was like 6'10". He was a monster.
God. I mean, you and I are tall guys. How tall are you?
I'm only like 6'3", so you and I are about the same height.
Yeah.
Like years ago, we went to I think we were in like New Jersey or New York. We went to this this convention that had like metals, like music, metal, and all this other shit. And Peter Steele was doing an autograph signing. He walked in the room and he was at least 6 inches taller than everybody else. God. And he was jacked. I mean, he was absolutely jacked.
Big
his
boy.
Voice, you know, granted, unfortunately he's another one that we've lost over the years. It was just wow. I can hear his voice echoing in my head now with that. I hate to say it, I can't name a damn song of Type O Negatives if we put a gun to my head right now, but
a presence nonetheless. I mean, that dude commanded a room.
You know, and as much as guitars and the drums and the bass and even the keyboards, whatever you want to bring, if you don't have that lead singer, for some reason, the vocals sometimes are what draw people to a show.
It can make or break it.
Your front man is as important, but just as important as every other piece of the band. I mean, if you don't have a great guitarist, then all your goddamn songs are gonna sound like shit.
Agreed, right? You got to have the complete package. You know, there's 5 of us in Stillborn Condition. There's me, my buddy Al Pike, who plays guitar, my friend Brandon Hyde, who plays bass, Nick Morin is on vocals, and Seth Perkins is on drums. So there's 5 of us.
That's amazing, dude. Yeah. You know, and so going on the metal side of things, I wanted you to name me your top 5 metal bands. Like who are your top 5 of all time for you? It doesn't make a difference like popularity wise or whatnot, but for you, who are your top 5?
Oh man, that's such a loaded question.
That's okay. I'm into loaded questions, brother. Sorry.
Well, I mean, shit, I'm going to be sitting here for the next 20 minutes trying to figure this out. I mean, I have to say, you know, Bloodbath is a death metal as far as death metal greatness. I love them. Opeth. I love Opeth.
Yeah.
I think they are top tier. Jeez. Man, I don't know. So that's 2. Shit, there's so many. I mean, it's hard to pick. I mean, It really depends on the mood and what strikes me at the time. Like I said, I go to Bloodbath and Opeth, which is ironically 2 of the same singer. But let me think here. Jeez, I don't know, man. That's tough. You got me, dude. You stumped me.
It is tough. Really. So if you separate it out and just work on like the death metal part of it and not
just
think about like new metal and other parts of metal, just hit the death metal part of it. I'm sure you must have a bunch of them that are off the top of your head that you must have like on a playlist that you.
I was going to say, now I'm going to look at my Spotify list and see. Let's see what we got here.
Oh God, yeah.
Well, let's see.
I know sometimes I come up with some crazy questions. It's just it depends.
Oh man, listen. So I mean, Whitechapel for sure. I love those guys.
Okay.
There was a few albums where I was like, you know. Let's see here.
What about newer stuff like Motionless in White? Do you listen to any of those guys?
You know, I don't, honestly. Okay. You know, I'm going to be real with you. I don't listen to too much of the newer stuff. Honestly, I'm stuck in my, you know, I'm getting to that age where I'm like, they don't make it like they used to.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, also Korn. They're not death metal, but they're OGs.
Yeah, of course.
Let's see. I'm looking at my
Bill
playlist
said Rob
now.
Zombie. You know,
Rob
I
Zombie's
love
great. Hellbilly Deluxe. I used to play the Ocarina of Time, Zelda, the Ocarina of Time, and listen to Hellbilly Deluxe and fight the final boss.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, linking video games to music has definitely been something I used to do all the time. You know.
Oh man, Suicide Silence, man. I got to drop those guys' names. They really changed my my perspective on a lot of. They're more like deathcore, I guess, but they're good.
Thank you. Definitely never a dull moment on this show. You know,
I know, right?
I try to keep it as
keep it ripping.
Definitely. You know.
Let's see. Yeah, so there's 3, right? Let's see. I got to come up with 2 more.
It's all good.
Let's see. I'm going through my playlist now. I said Opeth, yeah. Also Parish. Like I said, those guys rip. Those guys are great. I never get tired of hearing them. And let's see. Jeez. I'll pick one more. Let's see. The Haunted. You ever listen to The Haunted?
No, I don't think I've heard The Haunted before.
Ola England. Like he does he's got a YouTube channel. He runs the company Solar Guitars. But check out The Haunted. They got an album called oh my god. One Kill Wonder. That's what it is.
Oh, that's pretty.
Cool. It's fucking awesome. It's killer, yeah. And I guess Devil Driver's got to be up on that list. I love those guys. They rip.
Nice.
You know, Nate dropped that name, and I was like, oh yeah, like fucking yeah, I do listen to them. Like,
yeah, sometimes you forget about those early 2000s, and I think those early 2000s, right, for Devil Driver.
Yeah, early 2000s, and a little fun fact too. Like, as much as I love death metal and I'm into death metal, it's kind of funny because like 80% of the time I listen to like 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s. Like I go down the list. Like I'll listen to shit from the 40s, and I vibe out hard, you know.
Well, you know what? Being a musician, you tend to gravitate towards all genres of music, you know.
My mom, you know, she would listen to all these, you know, it was the oldies or whatever, you know, and she would always quiz me. She'd be like, "Oh, who sings this song?" I don't fucking know. And so now, you know, when you know someone's on the old school, you know, oldies radio station about who sings this, I'll be like, "Oh, that's the Association," or "Who sings this?" "Oh, that's the Animals," or "That's the Beatles." You know, like it just is so ingrained in my head. It's funny.
Yeah, no, I go through days.
Tears for Fears, Heart, you know, like Hall & Oates.
My God, there you go, Hall & Oates. Jeez. Well, I hear you. I mean, I've been gravitating a lot towards CCR, Creedence Clearwater Revival, Fogerty,
Pink Floyd.
Oh God, Brit Floyd. Have you heard Brit Floyd?
I have, dude. Those guys. I mean, if you closed your eyes, you'd think you were listening to like OG Pink Floyd. Yeah. It's crazy.
I got to tell you this, brother. Hey, Jeff, I think it was last year or the year before, a friend of mine took me to go see Brit Floyd in Boston. Okay. And you know what blew my motherfucking mind away, and I don't care, I'll say it exactly. The Great Gig in the Sky.
Oh, man.
The woman singer that they had up blew my mind. Just blew. Yep, still working. We've been talking about that, Jeff, this whole time.
Jeff's come to see us a couple of times. He's definitely a big supporter of us. Thank you, Jeff.
You know, I'm hoping one of these days I'll be able to get up there and check you guys out too, because I would definitely love to hear some of your stuff, man. No doubt.
We're on Spotify if you want to check it out. We got 2 albums. Our first album is called God Eater. It's a full length, and then we have a Malevolent, which is a 5-song EP.
Dude, that's phenomenal. You know,
thank you.
Yeah, the great Gig in the Sky.
Yeah, my God, I love that tune. Dark Side of the Moon, like, dude, hands down, one of my faves. And The Wall too. I used to call that my mental health album just because it helped me through a lot of shit. You know,
I agree, man. You know, nothing better than just cranking some Pink Floyd, you know, and just kicking back, relaxing. I was always a huge fan of Queen. Freddie Mercury was one of my favorites. The Doors with Jim Morrison. If you want to just trip out, just throw on like The End and just listen to it for like 30 minutes, you know, shit like that.
Yep, absolutely, man. Just vibe right the hell out.
I'm a gigantic Rush fan, so anything from the Rush catalog, I was huge into them.
I just recently learned More Than a Feeling by Boston on guitar.
Oh wow, that's pretty sick.
I love that song. I love like all that old school, like Toto, you know, Boston. Man, just listen to
Dark Side earlier.
Tell you the song "Time" now hits me right in the heart. I mean, like it never used to, but I'm getting older, so you know, you hear the song "Time" and you're like, like that's got a heavy meaning to it, you know.
No doubt. So I don't want to skip out on any of the chapters because, man, trust me, I got them all in here. I want to talk about your books.
Sure.
Take a different direction.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
Can you explain the origin of "I fucking knew it"? I love the hashtag on the thing, but could you want to talk about that? Was that your first book?
It was, yeah. So the first book's called "I Fucking Knew It."
Yeah.
The second book's called "The Untrained Medium." And honestly, the way I got the name for "I Fucking Knew It" was there was so many times in my life before I even knew I was a medium where I wouldn't listen to my intuition. I wouldn't listen to that gut feeling. I fucking knew I shouldn't have done that. Like, God, I'm an idiot. What the fuck? Or I would do something. I fucking knew that was going to happen. I fucking knew it. And I would always say things like that. And so once I got into mediumship and doing the readings, I was like, that fits too well. So.
That's awesome.
And I thought, what a great name for a book. Then I fucking knew it. So that's how I came up with the name for that one.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna have to get a copy off you and read that, because I like, the more I've been thinking about, like, I gotta know what the hell that book is about. And like, so, and you also have the Untrained Medium.
Yes.
So was that basically based on your own experiences as
so
growing
that's
and developing as a medium? Or
exactly like what kind of some of the hardships that I went through in my early development, not knowing I was a medium. Some of the things that like I went through and experienced before I even knew it was a thing. Like, there's some like, incidences where I talk about in certain early chapters where like I went to a girl's house. And I remember this very vividly. I think it's in like the first or second chapter. I had no idea I was a medium or anything like that, but a friend of mine called me up. She goes, a friend of mine's doing some self-harm, unfortunately. She goes, we got to go over and take her sharps away, make sure she's okay. Ooh. So I went over with her. We go upstairs, this old house, I get up to her room where she's at, and she's got a guitar. And I obviously I played guitar at the time. So I'm like, oh, that's a cool guitar. I was like, do you got an amp for it? It was an electric. And she's like, yeah, it's in this other room. She goes, let me take you to the other room. I'll show you the amp. We go to the other room. Immediately I walk in and I'm like, oof, like somebody cranked the temperature to 1,000, I'm burning up. Right. And I said that to her. I was like, God, I'm so like, is it like unbelievably hot in this room? She goes, it's kind of weird you say that. And I was like, well, why is that? She goes, the person who lived in this house prior to me, a father and daughter burned alive in this room.
Wow.
And I was like, get the fuck out of here. I was like, that's crazy. And that was part of the reason why she was doing the self-harm, is because she was seeing these spirits in a very kind of dark way and she couldn't process it. And I didn't find out about that until much later on, but different things like that would happen. And, it was too coincidental for me. I was like, there's no way. There's no way.
That's amazing. So the book documents all of that kind of stuff too.
It does, yeah. And it just, like I said, and kind of talks about some of the darker history. Like I have dealt with a lot of depression, anxiety, and the things that come along with that. It gets kind of heavy, and it's more personal. I fucking knew it. Kind of talks about more me getting into the paranormal and how I did that. It talks a little bit about there's some. I'm a spiritualist minister as well. Yeah. So there was some like positive stories that I had to write in order to become a minister. So I incorporated those into the book. But yeah, like the Untrained Medium kind of more talks about like, it digs a little deeper into the personal side of what I went through and not knowing what life was as a medium and not being trained how to do it, hence the name. And I got to give credit to my buddy Brandon Hyde. He was the one who came up with that name. He was like, oh dude, he's like, that was when you were an untrained medium. And I was like, that's great. like.
So can they find these books? Can people find these books on some sort of like Amazon or something like that?
They can find it right on Amazon. I also sell them at galleries or Paracons, things like that.
So, yeah, that's cool. I think just in case somebody ever wanted to pick up one of the books, we could definitely put a plug out for both of those books.
That'd be great. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of plugs, I mentioned it earlier backstage. I want to do it now. You're officially the official gallery. You're going to be giving the gallery at this year's Maine Paranormal and Horror Convention, put on by our really good friends, Jeff and Ashley. That's right. Nice enough to chime in this evening. And I wanted to bring that up a little bit, and seeing that, we talked a lot about the galleries earlier. I definitely wanted to put a plug in for that, because I think this year's event is going to be an amazing event. And I think with the addition of you having your gallery, we can doing it Saturday night. Is that what you're doing?
Saturday night, and a portion of the ticket sales are actually going to go to the two charities that are involved in the Maine Paranormal and Horror Convention. So Mr. Drew and His Animals 2 and Misfits Rehab. I'm going to be donating a portion of all the tickets, or not all of them, but a portion of the ticket sales to those guys to help them out and just support them and their charities. So
Dude, that is
a way to give back and just thank you, man. I feel like it's important to grow as a community and to help each other out. And if I'm able to do that, then I wholeheartedly feel like that's the right thing to do.
I definitely say if anybody watching this now or gets a chance to watch it later, please come to the Maine Paranormal Horror Convention.
Yes.
And
Augusta Civic Center.
Come see Chris's gallery. Come support Jeff and Ashley because they are amazing people, and this is going to be another amazing event. Mm-hmm. Actually, in a few weeks, I am. Oh, hey, there we go.
There we go. Got you back.
Technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Yeah.
Being a big horror guy and getting a chance to actually getting to interview Winnie the Pooh before the actual convention.
Wow, that's cool.
Really,
I got tickets are on sale for the gallery right now, so you can go right on their website and get a ticket if you want.
Get your tickets now because they are gonna sell out. I guarantee you.
That would be unbelievably amazing, and I would be eternally blessed. It would be great.
I think so. We both froze for a second. I don't know what happened. I think the gremlins came in and decided
to messing with us, right?
Like I told you earlier, I'm not the biggest person with technology, so who knows? Little dancing monkeys go across the screen and snap you with a hammer. Be like, "What are you doing?" Yeah, cymbals
clanging their cymbals together, right? Yeah.
Oh my God, monkey shines all over again. So you know what? I know that we're definitely gonna be running a bit over, but I want to cover some stuff. I'm in no rush, so I wanted to talk about your podcast.
Yeah,
because it's one of the chaps we haven't mentioned. The lovely Raven was on earlier. She's been commenting too. So talk about the birth of the medium frequencies with Raven. When did you guys decide to get that going? And
so funny enough, Raven was her project before I joined on. She was the one who created the medium frequency, her and Gwen. And then we were at the Salem Paracon. And, I obviously had known Raven. We were friends. And she comes up to my booth, and her and Gwen, actually, they ambushed me a little bit. They're like, "Chris, we got a question for you." And at first I'm like, "Oh, fuck, what'd I do?" And they're like, we really need, I really want a co-host. And she's like, "I think that you'd be a good fit." She goes, "How do you feel about joining me on the medium frequency?" And I just was unbelievably honored and grateful. And so I hopped on, and I thought it was a great way. I did do a podcast years ago. Called I Fucking Knew It. It's on Spotify now. You can still find it. And I would do interviews, and I would do solo stuff where I would just kind of talk randomly about, whatever was on my mind.
Right.
But, I loved that vibe. I loved doing that sort of stuff, interviewing people, talking to people, growing the community, learning about other people's stories. So when she asked me, I was like, I get to be on a podcast with a friend of mine and get to connect with people in the field. Fucking sign me up. You know what I mean? I thought it was great. So Raven, if you're still watching, thank you so much. Gwen, I know you're healing, but if you see this, thank you so much for having me on the medium frequency and just having me be a part of the All Access Network. I'm truly grateful and honored. It's been really great. So that's kind of how I got into it. They ambushed me.
It's really cool. Cause I have been on your show. You guys have definitely have a great dynamic going on. You guys definitely play well off of each other. And I know it can be difficult with a host and a host and co-host working together sometimes to be in sync. And you guys seem to do a very tremendous job at it. So
thank you.
I do definitely say that, if you get a chance on Monday evenings, to check out Raven and Chris on the, on the medium frequencies on the All Access Network, Monday
9:30 Monday nights, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will go live every Monday. So
it's phenomenal. It really,
thank you.
We have a lot of great shows on this network, no doubt.
Absolutely.
Between Mondays and Tuesdays, and I'm going to plug our Wicked Wednesdays because we've definitely been getting the ball going in a crazy direction with our stuff too. And absolutely, you guys are a great duo, and I know at some point I'm going to have the both of you come on, and we're going to do a whole episode dedicated to the medium frequencies. I plan on doing
that'd be awesome.
Seeing that. We've definitely wound up, and my God, the hour went by so damn fast. It's hard to even
good conversation goes by quick, man.
Absolutely, brother. You know what? I'm going to hit you with what I hit everybody else with, and I know that you definitely enjoy a little bit of horror in the past. So, the Mount Rushmore of horror characters for Mr. Chris.
Mount Rushmore. So that'd be 4 of them, right?
Yes, sir.
You got to go Art the Clown. I love that motherfucker.
Oh
Crazy
my God, I
bastard.
agree. Oh,
Like, and I never thought in our lifetime we would get another horror icon that is just as prevalent as, like, you know, Chucky or Mike Myers or, you know, any of those guys, right? This might be weird, but the Xenomorph from Aliens, you got to throw that Xenomorph on there, man. Aliens is dope.
They're one of the OGs, man. They've been around since the late 70s, so I definitely can give you that. No doubt.
I got to say, I got to go Freddy Krueger too, because he was kind of like art before art, you know, that campy kind of funny, you know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
he pioneered that shit.
Art is funny without saying a word. Freddy is just, Robert Englund is just a god.
Oh,
and
brilliant.
to me, in the horror, he's a god. You know?
Yep, 100%. So there's 3, and then the last one. That's a good question. You know,
it's hard.
Does one of the creatures from The Thing count?
We can
not horror icons, but that's a great horror movie. You know.
No, we can include The Thing in general, because I mean I know that those things constantly
just
change
put Kurt
forms.
Russell's face on there.
Exactly, you know, just Kurt Russell with the big beard and the long hair.
Yeah,
and all
nobody
that
trusts anybody anymore.
Dude, you know the lore of that movie, right?
I may. What do you got?
The fact that they give away the plot in the first couple of minutes of the entire movie.
Oh, right, yeah.
In the cab of the truck when they're speaking Russian, and the guy looks at the dog and says, "That's not really a dog," or something along those lines. But you know, and it actually, if you spoke the language, you would actually know that they gave away the entire movie within the first couple of minutes.
But the American audiences, you know, for the most part, don't speak Russian, so they didn't have no idea, right?
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, I only found about that years later, because you know when you deep dive on things and you're looking through social media and it's like, oh my God, you know. But you know, Chris, thank you very much this evening, man. It has been a pleasure and an honor to have you on the show. You know, and hopefully we'll get a chance to do this again someday down the road.
I'd love to. That'd be great. This has been awesome.
You know, so this is Jeremy Cotter, my excellent guest, Christopher Brown. Come see him at the Maine Paranormal Horror Convention with the gallery. Watch Medium Frequencies, watch Twisted Tales, watch my buddy Nate with Paranormal Unveiled, and all the other great programming on the All Access Network. And Sean, can you take us home?